Hi gang, Jeff McAleer once again, and today I am going to take a look at Mark H. Walker's 65, Squad Level Combat in the Jungles of Vietnam. But I'm not just going to look at the core game, I'm also going to take a peek at some of the expansions that are available or will be available for 65. So we've got Alone in the Jungle, we've got a tactical supplement with the Marine Corps and Anzacs, and then I have a little box that I haven't opened up yet, but I have a strange feeling that these are going to be game boards for the city of Hue. So let's move those out of the way for a second. 65 is going to utilize some of the mechanics from the science fiction game from Flying Pig Games, Night of Man. And I really like that game. There was a lot to recommend it. And this new game is historical. So I'm curious to see how some of the cards will work in a non-science fiction setting. So this includes 3 mounted game boards, 4 die-cut counter sheets, a deck of action cards, rules and scenarios. It is for 2 players with a playing time of 1 to 3 hours, and it is for ages 14 and up. One thing I do want to mention as a quick side note, people have asked why we're seeing a lot of games that are showing for ages 14 and up, and some of them are very obviously titles, not necessarily 65, although Night of Man was not a difficult game to learn how to play. The 14 and up is not necessarily saying that that's what the game is designed for or that's the intended audience. There are just some regulations as far as the United States with components and things being small, children can swallow, so on and so forth, that aren't necessarily in effect in other countries. So you may see an English edition of a game, say 14 and up, and then you'll see, let's say, a German language edition, and it says ages 9 and up. Well, they're not insinuating that children in Germany are smarter than they are here in the US, although they may be. They're just pointing out what their regulations require. So let's get into the good stuff. Let's quit talking about why it's 14 and up. Okay, so we've got, this is going to be the action card deck, and I'll put that to the side. And this is the training aid. So we've got the rule book. Take a look through here. That's a pretty big font. We're talking about the action cards, player impulses, movement, stacking, ranged combat. This is actually the stock, the paper stock's pretty thick too. Assault combat, vehicle combat, rallying helicopters, actions, powers, fortifications, and scenarios. There are 8 scenarios in the core game, ranging anywhere from the Ayadrang Valley up to Operation Starlight. So we've got the rules there. We've got player aids. Looks like they're identical and dual-sided. And then we've got the counters. And this is one of the things that struck me right away with Night of Man is how big the counters are. I mean, compare it to the size of my thumb. Of course, now these are vehicles, and they are dual-sided. Wreckage on this side. But you'll also notice that the squads are also going to be big, chunky counters. Now, there are heroes and leaders and snipers and a whole lot of goodies in this game. This is not going to be a typical hex and counter war game. So if we're taking a look here, and then we've got the map boards. And of course, you're going to be able to change these around to create different battlefields. So we've got a little bit of a village here. So they're not all identical. All right, come on, open up there. Okay, so we've got that. Now, let me open up the action deck. Okay, so I believe we should have, yep, we've got 2 decks. So, as I mentioned, this is the action deck. And what the cards do is they allow you to do things with your units, but these cards are also utilized to see if your attacks hit the target. So there are no dice. And I know that is something that sometimes people have a little hard time to wrap their head around. But it's not as if we haven't seen this before. And when I did my unboxing for Knight of Man, I did mention that this is something we've seen in the Combat Commander series from our friends over at GMT. So, just kind of going through, fast move, rally. And the interesting thing too is you don't necessarily know when the turn will end, which is kind of cool too. So you can only have so many cards in your hand, and then once the turn ends, you have to discard cards. So we've got bonus victory conditions. We need more weapons or Major wants good stuff to show the newsies. Okay, so this is a little different. This wasn't in Knight of Man, so that's kind of cool. So we've got that. We've got all, well, let's get the deck out of here first. Got all the counters. Play aids, and the rule book. It'd be a good idea if I put the deck back in there. But let's take a look. We've got Alone in the Jungle, and I believe these are actually solitaire rules for playing 65. So let's slide this stuff out. It looks like we've got some new hexes and some new counters and a new deck of cards. And it looks as if, yep, it's one of those kind of bags that has adhesive. So allow me to take this deck out here. And I'll open that up in just a second. So then we've got, if I can get it out, jeez. We've got the rules here, and yep, sure enough, these are solitaire rules. So you can actually play, I'm guessing, you're not playing as the Viet Cong or NVA, I'm taking a wild stab that you are commanding the American-led forces. And then we've got some scenarios. So we've got 4, 5, 6 scenarios. So we've got that. Give me a sec, I'll open these up. Okay, so let's see. Looks like it's all one deck. So if you're playing solitaire, you're going to have the other deck probably as well as this one. I don't think you'd be replacing it. Ah, maybe this is the AI for your opponent, because it's talking about target nearest, largest, random events, stance. Yeah, so that's probably what that would be. And then we've got the U.S. Marine Corps and Anzacs. So let's open this up. Now, I can't tell you if these are available right now or coming soon. I'm taking a guess they're probably out. Although, in all honesty, I did not see anything on the Flying Pig Games website about these, which I thought was kind of strange because I was looking for some pricing. So once again, we've got more counters. Look, it's Sergeant Rock. And more vehicles. All right. Okay. And then we've got a little bit of a tactical supplement. So it's going to be talking about some special rules, special scenario rules for the Marine Corps and Anzacs. And then we've got scenarios. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 6 more scenarios. Okay, let me move some of this stuff out of the way here. And then I'm going to take a look at this box here. And as I said, I have a sneaking suspicion that what's in this is actually, and of course, looks like it's really well sealed. I have a suspicion that this is the city of Hawaii. Or at least a city, so there's some city maps. Get these opened up. That adhesive is not helping because when I try to open these up, it's sticking the bag closed again. So we've got city map scenarios. See, I was wrong. It's not Hawaii at all. Okay, anyway, so now we've got some more map boards. Oh, and it's actually one large map. It's not a map board. Well, I should say it's not a modular board. It's all one map. Okay, so that's very cool. It's not dual-sided, so we've got that. And it looks like we could probably fit all of this stuff in the core box. And speaking of the core game, 65 is available right now from Flying Pig Games. I do want to mention the core game does carry an MSRP of $79.95. But right now, as I'm recording this video, you can still get it for $50. Now keep in mind, because I don't want to get an email from somebody 2 months from now talking about how the price has changed, because that has happened in the past. You have to act fast to get it for the $50 price. I know Flying Pig Games runs some of the specials for a little while, and then they just go back up to the regular MSRP. So if you want to save about $30 on the core game, go over there and pick it up now. And of course, if you want to learn about any of the other great Flying Pig games, simply go to flyingpiggames.com. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. For the latest in gaming news, reviews, movies, TV, comics, come on, you know by now. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. And until next time, thanks for watching.